My name is Hunter Fletcher. I'm 17 years old. I'm currently a senior.
I'm Gabby Fletcher. I'm 19 years old. When I was a senior in high school, I lost my parents due to gun violence.
My sophomore year of high school, my parents both were killed. And I'm talking about the way that teachers handled the situation in my school.
Right after my parents passed away, my English teacher actually reached out to me over Instagram, which usually wouldn't be allowed, but I guess that's what I liked about it. She told me I could come over to her house anytime and she would cook for me and sit and cry with me kind of thing, and that meant a lot to me. She looked at me as more of a person than just a student in a classroom that went through something. She could relate to me because she had been through something traumatic too. So I think the takeaway from that is, look at me like I'm a human and I've been through something. Think about how you would treat your own children or your sister if they had been through what I'd been through. Talk to me like that, not like you're an administrator. Don't feel like you have to.
They handled it well. Sometimes they tried to motivate me to get my schoolwork done and try and actually be at school. But there's a few instances where teachers just they wouldn't handle it with the most care. There is a day my sophomore year, towards the it's probably about February, a couple months after the incident. My math teacher, I was sleeping in class and she woke me up and I fell right back asleep because I found it very hard to find motivation to want to do school and want to be there. She pulled me out to the hallway and she told me that at some point I just need to learn to overcome and move on. And it was just a rough day for me, and I exploded and freaked out on her because it was a sensitive topic for her to just tell me to move on. And it was still pretty fresh. I lost both my parents, had to move to a new living situation, and I think teachers in general just need to take a step back from what's actually happening in their classroom and realize that students do have things going on, and that not every student comes to school every day wanting to be there, and people do have things going on outside of the classroom. I think that she just was looking at me to be a leader for her classroom and kids to do her work in her class, and I just was setting a bad example for everybody else. And I think that she just didn't really have the experience or the training to handle that situation. And I think teachers need to be better educated on how to handle students that have been dealing with grief and post-traumatic stress disorders and stuff like that.
The hardest thing is not only having to grieve and all the changes happening at once, feeling like everybody knew and everybody was somehow didn't want to say the wrong thing, so nobody just said anything at all. I wish people would just ask, and I wish administrators would just ask me how I was doing, ask me what they could do to help me, but they were so busy trying to do their job that they thought I was unapproachable.
My advice for teachers that have students that are dealing with trauma or are currently experiencing trauma in their life, my advice would just be stay with them, don't give up on them. Try and keep them as motivated as you can. Teachers are the biggest support that kids get outside of the home, and when their home life isn't the most secure or grounded thing in their life, I think school is a real good support system for that, and sports as well.
Human intuition plays a huge role in trauma. I think if you are looking for certain signs like depression and anger and outbursts in class or sleeping, I think those can be helpful, but not every student is the same. So I think that's where it comes in. You have to know your students. I think it's really important that you create that bond with students, because that's when you're a human. Teachers are so busy trying to play by the book, look for exact particular signs, and they just come to work to do their job.
More than 25% of American children and teens experience a traumatic event by their 16th birthday.
Nearly 80% of people that have attempted suicide have experienced one or more traumatic experience in their life.
I think that's like communication is the best thing that a teacher could do. I think sometimes that I just needed someone to vent to and someone to talk to, and my teachers were the closest support system that I had when I wasn't going to therapy.
I think that it is so important for these teachers to be educated because, I might just be one person, but there are so many people just like me going through trauma.
If you stick with the student, once he gets through the grief process, if you stayed with him and you were that strong support for him or her, you're going to be a big impact in that kid's life, and they're going to remember it forever.
Even just one teacher could have made a world of difference.
Thank you.
Thank you.